Tracy, I'm so glad that you've joined me today because I have a lot of questions for you around how we can best look after ourselves when it comes to our own well-being as women. The internal, I think, is really important, but also the external as well. And you've got so much experience and knowledge in the hair and makeup industry, and you've worked in lots of different areas. So I'm wondering if you could tell me a little bit about what you've done and how that sort of transitioned into where you are now and what your focus is moving forward.
Yeah, thanks, Jo. Thanks for having me. Well, I will tell you a little bit because there is a lot. There is a lot to tell. So for the last 30-something years, I've worked as a freelance hair and makeup artist, and that's been a really wide and broad community of people that I've worked with, because not only have I worked in media and on all different types of sort of productions and advertising and things like that, but I've also worked personally with a lot of people for special occasions and weddings. So I've had a really big range of women predominantly, but also men. And through all the years of working obviously with faces, I've been able to see how people take care of themselves, as well as what it actually means to take care of yourself. But more importantly, when I approach somebody and I'm working in that very intimate space, it actually brings up a lot of vulnerability for people, and that some people can be quite open to it, but you also really get to experience the areas where people pull back from and shy away from, or where maybe they're guarded and their defences lie. So being a hair and makeup artist is a bit like being a psychologist.
It's a bit like, going to the hairdresser.
It is like going to the hairdresser, and and in the same way. But I don't always get to see somebody over and over again for many years of their life. It might be a one-off situation. But I also get to experience the ways in which women, especially, really put themselves down, And it's interesting, because we run all these stories about who we are, through our minds. And, sometimes those stories evolve as they should. But some of those stories really have quite a hold on people. And it does stop people from moving forward and developing who they are. So for me, just gaining knowledge and wisdom, I suppose, through the job that I've done, I've actually been able to see where maybe I can have more value in helping somebody move forward and really embrace more than just their physical appearance, be comfortable with more than just their physical appearance, and actually see how they themselves can foster more connection and a better relationship with themselves, just through some really simple things as well.
And I think one of the things that I love that I've heard you talk a little bit about is there's an exercise with the frowning and smiling exercise.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering whether or not you would be able to share that with us today, because I think it's a really great, simple exercise that someone can do every day.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes it's just the simplest thing, rather than taking people to the depths of understanding.
We've only got so much time.
So the face is obviously something that we identify with. I know you're Jo because of your face, and I know my mother's my mother. But the face holds so much more of who we are and how we understand ourselves. And a lot of people not really that self-aware of what their face feels like. We know what it looks like in a mirror. We add value to ourselves by our appearances, and sometimes we subtract value from ourselves due to that. But the face is really quite a mystery, and it holds so many connections to the rest of the body. It is a bit of a map. So there is this exercise that I work with, which is basically getting people to, first of all, just sort of be still, take a few deep breaths.
Work you through this.
I can work you through this. So we're just going to take a moment to just take a couple of really deep breaths and just listen to our breath going in and out. And you know, it can help to close your eyes, just brings you into a bit of a still space. And any form of breathing can undo some anxious feelings or feelings of nervousness. And then just bring your focus into your face, yourself, and just feel different parts of your face. Start to become aware of whether you've got your mouth closed or your mouth open. It is nice to try and let your jaw relax and just let your mouth hang open. And I always use the visual to people. Imagine you're just sitting here right in behind your eyes. So bring all your focus into this part of you so that you're in there, you're right behind your eyes, you're right in behind your face. And the first thing that I am going to get you to do, Jo, is to make your face contort into the biggest frown that you can summon.
Okay.
So, you know, this can look quite strange. And so if you want to do it in front of a mirror, you can. But so really bring yourself into a frown and use all those muscles, and you know it actually takes
a lot of energy.
It takes a lot of energy, and you have 42 face muscles and it takes all of them to frown.
I feel like I could burst actually.
Yeah. And so when you're in that frowning position, you actually start to become aware of how you get engaged in it. Your whole being really does get engaged in that frown. You feel the tension in your neck. You can feel tension over the back of your head. Across your shoulders. You actually start to do it. So I just say to people, okay, do it 5 times. You know, do the...
I like your pout. You got that pout frown.
What is a frown? You know, is it just my forehead? A frown can really engage all of you.
Yeah.
So now you've really become aware of what happens.
The energy.
What happens when you're frowning, and what am I bringing into that? So we're going to let that go.
Yes.
So we're just going to let that go and have a couple of really deep in and out breaths and smudge that all away, you know, throw it away.
Shake it off.
Yeah, shake it off. Get rid of the frown. And so now we're going to do the opposite of frowning, which is a smiling exercise.
Yes.
Now, smiling actually feels like it engages a lot too. Actually, it only takes 11 muscles to produce a smile, rather than 42 to produce a frown. So we're just going to imagine the biggest, cheesiest, most ridiculous smile that you can conjure, and it will feel artificial at the start, you know, so and especially if you're doing this in front of a mirror, you're going to bring on these big cheesy looks and have a look and then just relax again, and then we're going to do it again. And what ends up happening is that you realize that in the action of smiling, your body lifts.
It does. You get this sort of sense of wanting to come out a bit more.
Yeah. And the artificial act of smiling actually does make you want to smile because we start to actually feel the joy in the actual smiling. So you do that 5 times as well, and then just come back to a still place of breathing. But if this is something that you can do every day, and like literally you could jump out of the shower if you're a morning person,
or in the shower, maybe
in the shower, anywhere. I mean, you could be lying in bed and it could be the first thing you do before you actually get up and move. This is not to complicate your life and add all these layers of things to do. You know, some people get up and go for a run, and some people get up and do a meditation or a yoga or Pilates or whatever it is that people like to do to bring a sense of joy and take them to their happy place. This is a really, really simple exercise. So what your brain will actually start to do over time is really engage with the awareness of what your face is doing. And so daily, if you're doing a frowning and smiling exercise, you'll actually start to feel throughout your day how you become aware of what your face is actually doing. So as soon as you do smile, it's going to trigger you into that start of your day where you are actually doing it mindfully and very consciously. And so too, if you bring on a frown, your brain is actually going to send a message and trigger you into the part of you that was mindfully doing a frown exercise in the morning. And so just your awareness on those two things brings about some really subtle and sometimes quite profound changes, because as soon as we become really aware of just those two simple things with our face, we become aware of how we engage with our bodies, and so where we're holding tension, maybe how we can release it, how we can relax it. And the jaw especially, is really, it's scientifically proven that the jaw is connected to the pelvis. And for a woman, that can be a really amazing part of being open and receiving your deeper wisdom in the simple act of that.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that knowledge and your wisdom, really. I feel like I've had a bit of a workout already in my face, but I can also see how beneficial it is, that ripple effect. If you can, incorporate something like that into your life, and then even when you're walking down the street and you are smiling and you're using all of that and the ripple effect that it has with everyone else around us, I think it's not uncommon if you smile at someone, the majority of the time you're probably going to get a response back, which is a smile as well. Not always. Yeah. But I think, if you can start to take care of yourself and tune into yourself that way as well with simple everyday techniques and tricks, that it can have a spiral effect as well.
Absolutely. And I think that, we've all heard, the evidence-based stuff around if you smile to someone, you're going to bring maybe some joy to their day, or it isn't a really nice act of kindness. But more than that, it's a really amazing internal act of kindness to yourself. And that is where it starts.
It's so important, isn't it?
That's where it really starts. And we can be grappling with some really huge things, and it can just take the tiniest shift to start the ball rolling in the direction that you really want it to be rolling into.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and hopefully we'll have you back soon.
Thanks, Jo.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.